Hey guys, so I'm super excited. I am here with the fabulous La Tonya Davidson, and she's one of our newest or latest, greatest therapists that recently joined our team. And I'm super excited because one of the things that she's going to talk to you guys today about is overcoming imposter syndrome, so big, and using shadow work to be able to get back to center. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I appreciate you doing this with me so that we can offer these tips to the community about shadow work.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we know for sure, that word is used a lot, imposter syndrome. How would you describe it in your own personal thought of what that word means?
So exactly what it sounds like, being an imposter, being something that you're not, or being somewhere that you don't believe that you should be, feeling out of sorts, feeling like you don't belong.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that is so good. All right, so let's dive in because I hear from women all the time how, whether it's going for a raise or even being in a relationship with someone that they really like or what have you, but just not feeling like this is something that's for them, or getting stuck at certain aspects. So they stay small, they stay hidden, they don't show up as their best and biggest authentic self. So I heard you say there are many ways to work through this, but you are going to share with us 3 specific tips and the way in which you help people move through this.
I certainly am. So, there's this disconnect. As you stated, there's a disconnect between what you believe you are and what you actually are. So when we're showing up in relationships or we're showing up for that job interview, what we believe about ourselves and what we have to present to the person sitting before us are usually 2 different things. And so shadow work requires us to actually explore that gap. What is going on between how I'm showing up and what I actually believe about myself? So tip number 1 to really start this process of shadow work is looking at the emotions that come up. What do you feel when you show up and present yourself? And it's usually going to be fear. There may be some shame. And there's usually an overwhelming sense of anxiety because your mind is having to try to figure out, who do we show up as? What do we need to present? What does this person want to see? And that can be a little bit, off-putting for somebody. It feels very uncomfortable. So I say step number 1 is actually identify the feelings that come up when you are presented with such a situation. And you'll start to understand a little bit more about, why am I feeling ashamed? Why am I afraid? Why am I scared of this moment?
Absolutely. So I hear you saying step 1 is question yourself and question the thing. Awesome. What's step number 2?
Absolutely. So step number 2 is going to be starting to accept the parts of yourself that show up that you don't like. Because, from childhood, a lot of times, what did our parents tell us? They told us, look, when we go in the store, you better act right. Mm-hmm. So we had to create whatever acting right meant, right? Going into church, going into grandma's house, wherever you went, you had to create a persona, a personality that fit the moment. So this starts to create that disconnect, right? And any action that comes up or any behavior that comes up that we realize is wrong, we automatically suppress it. And then we do our best to try to present something else. So I say step number 2, when those behaviors come up that you don't like, don't avoid it. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend that it doesn't exist. You need to actually see it. Tell yourself that you don't like it. Mm-hmm. Tell yourself that you don't like that behavior or that action. And you can start to get comfortable. That's the shadow. You start to get more comfortable with its presence. And now you can start to understand a little bit more about why you do those things in those situations.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I also, like, as you're saying it, I'm thinking about it could also be in the reverse, and you correct me if I'm wrong. So, like you gave the example of a parent saying act right when you go in the store. So basically, you having to fit into societal norms, right, for this particular situation. But let's just say you're in adulthood. And I mean, I had this morning where, I just turned 47 and I was like, okay, I really need to get back on my exercise game, my back to life. After going through cancer and different things, I gained weight and I was like, okay, I've worked on it and medication, all that kind of stuff. But I really was like, I still feel better when I was here than here. And now that I'm at a different stage in my healing journey, I could go for it. So I'm wondering, is the false self the part of me, right? That old part when I was sick that said, girl, you don't need to do all that. You all right. Or is the true self saying, step into who you really desire to be in this moment? And so how do you push against? Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the false
Which
self.
one is the shadow?
The shadow it has those rules. It has all of these rules. Don't do that. Girl, don't say that. Girl, they're not going to like that. And the moment that we say, you know what? Okay, they might say that. They might not like it. Oh, well, that's the true self. The true self has disconnected from the fear of whatever response from me or anyone else is going to be.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's it could be aligning with your future.
Exactly. Because the future self is already perfected, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So going for it, because that's what I decided to do. I was like, look, whoever this is talking, we're not doing this today. Today the alarm goes off and we're up.
Not today. We ain't doing this today.
Right. Like we move into another phase of our lives. And me, the adult me, the aligned me is gonna take us there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got it. Yeah. And that sounds like it moved right into tip number 3.
Look at that. Segue. Perfect. So the authentic self is going to reveal itself. Tip number 3, let it reveal itself. I would say, Melissa, that step number 3 then is getting rid of resistance, allowing the flow of becoming. And once you address those emotions, because it's not going to be perfect, right? You're still going to have a little fear. You're still going to have these emotions that come up and, in certain moments, you may not like your behavior. We're not going to be perfect, but we're allowing the flow of whatever shows up, because then we can deal with it in the moment. We can stay present. And I don't like how I feel. I don't like what I did. Let me address it. Let me face it. And my true authentic self is going to let me do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I'm super excited that you're here. If you are thinking like I'm thinking, like, hey, it's time to birth some new things and it's time to align with who we desire to be, La Tonya may really truly be that person that you should be working with. So definitely contact us and let's get you guys working together. Excited. All right. We will talk to you soon, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.